Hey guys, it's Paul here, and just doing a follow-up video on my bed video that I posted recently. Hopefully you had a chance to check that out. I know it's kind of long, but if you're really building a bed, I think it'll be worth going through and watching all that information. But in any event, I wanted to capture kind of the top 5, tips or lessons learned for me that I would carry over into the next bed project that I would make, and thought it'd be worth sharing those with you if you're thinking about making a bed. So I've got 5 items. Honestly, I think probably the most important one is the 5th one, but I'm going to cover that last because I'm going to talk about the rails and the rail hardware, but I'm going to take the rail out to do that. And then when I'm done with this video, I'm going to move the bed. So that'll be the beginning of the process of disassembling and moving. So the items that I have. So first item is I really recommend using the IKEA platform support. It's not a sponsored video by IKEA by any means. This was recommended to me by another woodworker, and it really simplifies the build process. So in the past, I've used plywood as sort of the support, sort of making it a platform bed. The IKEA platform system, for one thing, is not much more expensive than a sheet of plywood. I got the higher end one, which was $120. And it sits in here and acts kind of like a low profile box spring. So there is a springiness to it. So I think it's going to be more comfortable, and I think it'll give better longevity to the mattress. Also, it's just so much lighter, comes out in 2 pieces, so much lighter than dealing with a sheet of plywood. So for my daughter and her partner to be able to easily disassemble and move the bed, I feel a lot better about it having that IKEA. I don't have it sitting here right now because I haven't put it all the way together. I'm going to deliver the bed, which is about an 8-hour drive, and set it up there, and I will assemble those pieces there. So the next item that I would share with you is to use a story stick. I do this on a lot of projects, and this story stick helped me out so much in this project. And I think a great feature of a story stick is that I'll hang on to this and it'll have pretty much everything that I need to build another bed like this. So things like the length of this story stick is exactly set to the width of the panels for the headboard and the footboard. So that gives me a nice consistency from headboard to footboard, which is important. I also have markings on here for all of the important measurements, and there are some very important measurements when you're making a bed. So I can, for instance, at a glance tell where the bottom of the rail is going to be, where the top of the rail is going to be, where the top of this cleat is going to sit, and where the IKEA sits, and that's a 3.5-inch profile height. And so it's, all that information is here at a glance, and I'll hang on to that, and if when my son is ready for a bed, if he wants one this size, I'll have that ready to go and can be able to just jump into action with that consistency available to us. Okay, another thing is, so when you use this hardware or this platform from IKEA, it requires support around the perimeter, not only on the sides, but also the headboard, footboard, and something in the middle. So you have to really keep that in mind when you're building the bed so that you give it adequate support. The headboard and footboard, that's a no-brainer. You're going to just put a cleat at the same height as the cleats on the side. No big deal. But I had to come up with something for the center. And so what I came up with, I think, really hits the mark. Now, in fairness, I haven't looked around to see what others are doing on this. So I came up with this. It might be really similar, it might be totally different. I don't know. But to me, this really works. So I put a pocket added on to the cleat on the headboard and the footboard. Just a U-shaped pocket out of scrap wood. And then this 1x4, which I used mahogany just because I had a random mahogany board in the shop. I don't work with mahogany much, so it's kind of an expensive secondary wood, but it's what I had, so I used it. And then the posts, I put posts evenly spaced, 2 posts. I used 2x2, plenty sturdy. I used dominoes to attach it. You could use, I mean, anything really. You could shoot a sheetrock screw through and just make sure you glue it. Doesn't really matter. It's not going to get a lot of side to side kind of torquing stress. And then I added these leveling feet as well. So now I just set this in place. I don't even have any attachment, any hardware fasteners. Set it in place and then just adjust the height on each one of those posts so that it's solid and stable, not rocking back and forth and not sagging in the middle. So if you put pressure on it, it's going to drop down an inch or whatever to catch on the floor. So this, I just am really happy with what I came up with here, and would strongly recommend it. And then number 4, these large panels like this, you have to really be careful because it's a huge panel. You're introducing a lot of potential for a cross-grain joinery situation. Now this bed is 100% solid hardwood. I don't have any plywood in place. If you're going to build your headboard that way, you really have to be careful about how you're doing that. So if you're building it with all the boards running horizontally, that's a wide joint, and you have to come up with a way to allow that to expand and contract, or something that's going to crack. The style that I made with, this is a 5-foot wide panel. If I didn't accommodate wood movement in here, this would crack for sure. Something would give and it would be a real mess. So what I did was used spacers during the glue up, and these are tongue and groove, but I didn't put any glue on the tongues or grooves, the horizontal ones. So the end pieces are fixed solid, as is the middle piece. Each of these pieces, again, no glue in the joinery, the tongue and groove, and just a dab of glue on the top. So these can expand and contract without disrupting the whole panel. I ran a wood calculator and determined that I needed about a 32nd of an inch between each one of these, and I ended up using a 1/16 inch, so I doubled it up. I like the look of it, and this was something that my daughter and her partner requested, was this kind of slat look. So that's what I came up with on the wood movement, and you just have to, you can do it a number of different ways, but you just have to keep it in mind and accommodate it, and don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to have a panel that is going to crack. Okay, so for number 5, I'm going to pull the rail out and then talk about that maybe in a little bit more detail. Number 5, I wanted to talk about the bed rail hardware, and again, I got this from Rockler. I don't remember the price, but it's pretty reasonable. And so I want to say several things actually about the rails. So first, the hardware itself. I started out the last video by saying I wasn't thrilled about it, but it's simple to install, simple to assemble and disassemble the bed. Definitely it is simple. I'm a bigger fan of it now after this project, and really what changed for me was I spent the time when I installed the hardware into the rail and the bedpost to really do my test cuts and get the fit just perfect. So I don't know if you can see, but this is recessed in probably a 32nd of an inch or so past flush. So it's countersunk, if you will, into the rail about a 32nd of an inch. Similarly on the bedpost, it's just slightly recessed in. So that is going to give you a better fit. So you want this so that these come together very solidly and there's no wiggling and slop when you install the bed rail to the frame. If there is, you need to take it out and recess a little deeper and reinstall the hardware. So spend your time, get it right, and you will be very glad that you did. So that's one tip. Second tip is you can see these dots here. So those are not decorative because they're on the inside where no one's going to see them. They are to catch the screws that attach the rail hardware. And so the theory behind this, and I saw this in a couple other videos, different ways of doing this, but basically you're screwing into end grain, which kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, but what this does is it inserts some long grain in. So I use 2-inch wood screws, which will go all the way through that dowel. And so I've got now a 3/4 inch dowel full of long grain that these screws are catching. I think it's going to make a difference. They sure anchored solidly, and I felt really good about it. It felt right, and I think that they'll hold up over time. And then also, I just wanted to add that these rails are a hair more than 7/8 of an inch thick. And the wood that I used, I picked my straightest planks out of the bunch and marked them right away as for rails so I wouldn't use them on the headboard or footboard. And so that is what I would suggest you doing. You want these as straight as an arrow and leaving them as thick as possible. 7/8 worked out really well. And also this cleat is bigger than it needs to be, and that's intentional. That gives it additional strength and rigidity. So this is a full 2-inch height and also 7/8 of an inch thick. And so that's just gonna really strengthen the rail. These rails, you saw me sitting on it earlier in the video, these rails are really, really solid. I have 100% confidence that they will hold up and we won't see cracking or problems with them down the road. So don't skimp on the rail. Do not try to get away with using a 3/4 inch rail, and I'll tell you that from experience. I did that on a bed once and it turned out to be a bad thing. I had to replace them with 7/8 and they worked out much better after that. All right, there's the 5 things, 5 tips that I have for you. And also I use these videos sometimes as just my own kind of furniture maker notebook so that next time I build, I can go back and refer back to my notes. So thank you for watching. I hope you will subscribe. Give me a thumbs up on the video if it's helpful. Even if you hate it, just please thumbs up and subscribe. Anyway, feel free to ask any questions down below. I try to be as responsive as possible and get back to you quickly and give you whatever help I can do. This full video, I'll give you a link to that if you haven't seen the full bed video, and I've got the SketchUp file in there, and hopefully anything that you need to help you build a bed would be in that video. So thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.